My name is Ulysses S. Arnn, and I stand with Scott Walker. Before attending Sunday, March 6, 2011 Stand With Walker event hosted by Americans for Prosperity, I decided to play Clark Kent with some pro-union protesters outside of the event.
Disgusting! Union busting! What's disgusting?
Union busting!
What's disgusting?
Union busting!
What's disgusting?
Union busting!
Union busting! Take that, Fox News!
Scott Walker in Madison!
In the history of our great state, $900 million is going to be cut from our kids' public education. And why? Why? So that he can reward corporate donors to him like the Koch brothers. There's more to this bill. Almost 1 million people could see their health care costs skyrocket, and 70,000 of us could lose the health care we buy through the Badger Care program. And that is bad for Wisconsin and something we have to fight about. And one last thing I wanted to talk about, and that is exactly who's going to benefit in this bill. Now, in Scott Walker's budget bill, after they have already given $140 million to the wealthy and the corporate special interests in the last month, Governor Walker's bill would give $84 million of our tax dollars to the biggest corporations in America. And the biggest corporations operating in the state. And it won't create a goddamn job. And who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for that $84 million? We are. But you know who else is going to pay for it? The working poor. Governor Walker actually increases taxes by $51 million on the working poor in Wisconsin. And now we need to send one more message. A united and solidified message that they hear us inside and that they're hearing across Wisconsin and across our nation and across this planet. That this bill has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, this bill has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, this bill has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, this bill has got to go.
What do you think of the actions of the 14 senators who are hiding out in Illinois?
Hallelujah! I think that they are...
Want to speak up, please?
I think they single-handedly managed to stop the process enough, slow the process enough, that we had the opportunity to examine what's in the budget repair bill that Governor Walker was trying to push through. So more power to him. And one of them is my state senator, John Erpenbach, and I'm very proud of him and I support him.
What do you think of the 14 Wisconsin senators hiding out in Illinois?
I am totally for them. They're doing a great job. They're using the only power they can to stop this horrible bill.
Excuse me, sir, why aren't you doing your job in Wisconsin today?
I'm leaving right now to do my job in Wisconsin.
Why didn't you do it earlier today, sir?
We believe we did do our job in Wisconsin.
But you didn't. You were supposed to be on the House, to at least be on the House floor to allow them to have a vote, and you didn't do it. Why not?
I'm not so sure that's my job today. My job today is to delay a vote on a piece of legislation. The people of the state have said we have not had time to consider the consequences.
What's your position there, sir, in the Senate?
Senator, let's get going.
What's your position in the Senate,
This
sir?
is my friend from the Tea Party.
What's your position in the Senate, sir?
We need to get going so we
Senator, why aren't you in Wisconsin doing your job?
I was
Why didn't you? Why did you flee the state, sir? Why did you flee the state of Wisconsin so you wouldn't have to do your job, sir?
We're going to do our job right now.
Okay, what's your name, sir?
What do you have to say to the 14 Wisconsin senators who are hiding out in Illinois?
Hooray, Fab 14, hang in there. I'm all with you, and I've given money as often as I can to support you.
All right. How long should they stay in Illinois?
As long as it takes until we can defeat this.
To me, the solution is quite simple. First of all, we're not broke. This country is not broke. State of Wisconsin is not broke. There's a ton of cash in this country, trillions of dollars of it, but it's a finite amount. There is only so much cash, all right? What's happened is that we've allowed a vast majority of that cash to be concentrated in the hands of just a few people, and they're not circulating that cash. If you don't believe that, go try and get a loan right now. They're sitting on the money. They're using it for their own, they're putting it someplace else. They have no interest in helping you with your life with that money. We've allowed them to take that. That's not theirs. That's a national resource. That's ours. That we all have this. We all benefit from this, or we all suffer as a result of not having it. And I think that we need to go back to taxing these people at the proper rates.
Michael Moore, who spoke here in Madison yesterday, said earlier this week that the nation's wealth is a national resource. What do you think?
I think that Wall Street has really hurt all of us. I think that Governor Walker is in the hands of the Koch brothers and other corporate monies. I think he has a bad bill, a bad budget, and he's a bad governor and bad for Wisconsin.
Michael Moore, who spoke here in Madison yesterday, said earlier this week that the wealth in the nation is a national resource. What do you think?
Well, I think it has the potential to be a national resource. Right now it's not, because those people are on their hind legs trying to avoid paying taxes and avoid doing their fair share. I want to say, on Facebook, there's been a status going around for a couple of weeks now that says, why is it when you ask the top income people, that 1%, when you ask them to pay a 3% tax, they call it socialism, but asking me and my husband to pay 12 to 14% taxes is doing our shares. It doesn't make sense to me. So yes, I do think it is a resource, but they won't let it go. And until we can convince the majority of people, and I think we're on the way to convincing them, then it's not going to be a resource for us.
I say GOP, you say fat cats. GOP, GOP. I say GOP, you say fat cats. GOP, GOP. Who did it? Wall Street did it. Who did it? Wall Street did it. Who did it? Wall Street did it. Who should pay for it? Wall Street.
What do you think of the people that are standing with Scott Walker?
I think they are terribly, terribly misguided.
What do you mean?
Well, I think that somehow most members of the Tea Party believe that they are the ones who orchestrated this what they call a grassroots movement. I don't think it's true. It was orchestrated by people like Americans for Prosperity. And it sounds like I'm just parroting what I'm reading in left-wing journals, but I've been around long enough. I'm in my 50s. I've been voting for a long time. I know what I see, and I know trends, and I know how to analyze trends. I think they are misguided. I think they believe somehow that what they're being told, and they're wrong. I don't know of any other way to say it.
What do you think they're being told that's wrong?
I think they're being told that the reason that they should feel threatened, and I'm not sure that a lot of them should feel threatened, but the reason that they do is because people like me, people like my husband, nurses and teachers, they think somehow, because the line they're being fed is that we are taking all their money. We're not taking all their money. When you look at the fact that 93% of the nation's wealth is in 1% hands, and most of that wealth is inherited wealth, those are the people who need to be targeted, but those are the people who are somehow convincing the Tea Party that we are the ones damaging them, when it's not us, it's the people who are orchestrating them to be doing what they're doing. Does that make sense?
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 2009 average annual pay in Wisconsin for a state government employee, $51,305. Private sector employee, $38,626. According to the Bureau of Economic Analysis and a story in USA Today, federal civilian employees' average compensation pay and benefits, $123,049. Private employee pay and benefits compensation, $61,051.
What do you have to say to the people that stand with Scott Walker?
They got to look deeper into what's going on. Stop paying attention to what's being force-fed to the Republican folks out here. It's awful.
On their knees for Walker. On their knees for Walker. You're going to mess up those nice pants, not crawling around on your knees like that. Sucking the big boy off.
Why do you both stand with Scott Walker?
He's doing the right thing now.
Right thing, yay!
Yeah.
Why do you stand with Scott Walker?
Because I love my grandchildren and they cannot afford the spending that the government has been doing and continues to do.
My name is Katie, I live in Madison, and I stand with Scott Walker very strongly.
His name is Joe Wurzelbacher. You know I'm talking about Joe the plumber.
Hunting and fishing, taking as many of your fish back home to Ohio. I am attempting to move here another year or two. Just got to get my boys squared away. Listen, I hate seeing what we're seeing. My brother's union in Ohio. A lot of good friends of mine are union guys, and I mean, there's a lot of real good folks out there that are protesting right now against this. But there's a big difference between what they're doing and what most Tea Partiers are. Most Tea Partiers are individuals that believe in the same ideals. They got the same beliefs, and they talk about what can we do to better our country, what we can do better to better our states, what we can leave behind for our children so they have the same opportunities that we've grown up doing. They're out there talking about me. That's awful selfish. And that's what it comes down to. You know, the state of Wisconsin's in dire strait, along with a lot of other states out there. Hard decisions have to be made. They have to be made now, otherwise the children aren't going to have the future that they need to be given. Now here's the question. You guys love your children? I'm sure they do too. You guys do anything for your children?
Yeah.
And I'm sure these union guys out there would as well. Would you take a bullet for your children?
Oh, yes.
And again, same thing with those union guys out there. There's not a lot of difference. They're just a little scared right now because they've had a guarantee most of their life. You know, us in the private sector, we don't have that guarantee. We get up each morning, we put our boots on, our shoes on, and whatnot, and we go out there and work and do it ourselves because that's what America's about. We get to fail or succeed on our own. That's an incredible thing. If you love your children, would do anything for your children. I don't want you to take a bullet for your children. I just want you guys to pick up a book and get educated. And that's my message to the guys out there. Yesterday I saw signs, Unions for America. So I walked up to them. I said, well, what America do you want to be for? You want to be for the socialist America? You got the socialists that kind of come into Madison and hijack the unions. I said, you want a communist America?
What are you
It's a fact. It's a fact that you got card-carrying socialists and card-carrying communists in Madison, around the state capitol with them.
Yeah.
So that's not the country that I want.
We didn't get into your rally, so leave ours. Will you?
So the question comes down to is, what America do we want? You know, I want the America that I grew up in, where I can put on my boots and succeed or fail on my own scores. Yeah, there's a word, thank you, sir. There's a word out there that except for one group of people in this country I believe in, that word deserve. That word deserve is thrown around on a regular basis. I deserve this, I deserve that. I deserve the money in your pocket, sir. Because
not so much.
Well, earning, that's a new four-letter word.
How about independence being the word?
We're
free.
In this country, I believe, that deserve anything are our military veterans. Thank you, sir, for your service. And if you want to, you can go to Alaska with me and go bear hunting in May.
All right.
I started a veterans organization with my 15 minutes of fame that expired 16 minutes ago. So I can take veterans hunting and fishing up in Alaska because I want to give back. That's my job as a leader. I'm not putting politics on that right now. I feel that's my responsibility as an American citizen. We have what you call civic responsibility. I've spoken in Washington or in Wisconsin many times, and I talk about accountability. I talk about things like individual responsibility, the Constitution, and education. That is our weapon, education, true education. For the parents to be allowed to go into the school system and be involved in their children's education again, instead of having to go through the union to get there. So, remember, these guys are a little concerned, a little scared. I have a little bit of sympathy for them because it's new to them to not have a guarantee in life. So just get that information out to them, talk to them, don't yell and scream at them. It does no good. I mean, it's pointless. But if you get that information out there, that education out there, Governor Scott Walker is making some hard decisions right now, and essentially what it comes down to is for the last 40 or 50 years, Republicans and Democrats alike have been making bad choices and bad decisions on behalf of the taxpayers.
That's right.
Well, the music has stopped and the chairs are gone. So now the decisions have to be made. So you got to stand firm, keep being brave and courageous like you are for coming here today, and I really do appreciate that. Let America know that there are people that support Governor Scott Walker in this, and not all the news is coming out of Madison saying otherwise. So keep speaking out, keep coming to these events, keep letting Americans know that you're going to take care of business because it's got to be taken care of. You can't kick it down the road anymore. Thank you very much for coming.
Here's the deal. If you look hard enough, we will find many points of agreement with the other side. I found mine today in a very unusual source. the Wisconsin State Journal, and actually Michael Moore. Sleeping Giants is the way. Do we agree?
I thought he'd be the poster boy for the First Lady's diet and eat right.
The only thing that's broke is the moral compass of the rulers. But its follow-up to that, unfortunately, is to deny truth and cry foul, seeking gain for one group and not for all. Politicians know, or they should know, that the truth about our dire financial situation in Wisconsin and the U.S. requires each and every one of them to step up to the plate and do the hard work. I am here to publicly say, thank God we have Scott Walker as our governor. Address the other day, and I have to tell you, we have a man of solid conviction with the courage to tackle the real problems of our state. While Scott and our Republican senators are attempting to move this state toward fiscal sanity, on the other side of the aisle are politicians on the run, avoiding the facts and playing chicken with people's lives. When in the minority, Democrats ruled. And now, from a hiding location in a state near you, these missing in action senators seek to control by avoiding responsibility. Do their job. They do not respect their constituents and they do not respect democracy. Instead, they attempt to nullify our November elections by running away. Loves freedom and seeks the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness as established in the Declaration of Independence. Am I right? Yeah. And not only are we here attempting to protect it for ourselves, but for all other Americans as well, including the folks that are out on the street. It is my greatest hope that someday those currently oppressed by the socialism of unions and the collective mantra will soon recognize and taste that freedom as well. I do believe that unionization is the development of socialism within its ranks and supporters. If they've not been indoctrinated in our public schools, they certainly are when they become members of the collective, when they get educated via union membership. But the real truth is that unions stand for union power, not the power of the people. They quickly threw their members under the bus, offering up their salaries for pension contributions and health care payments. But when it comes to the socialist side of this argument, collective bargaining and the automatic confiscation of dues from people, they will fight to the death to control these people.
Yeah, where's that dues go?
Days on the Madison School Board. I said back then, and I repeat it today. We've got an awful lot of politicians that are high on opium. OPM, other people's money. I'm going to introduce our next speaker, and that is Matt Seaholm, the State Director for the Wisconsin chapter of Americans for Prosperity. Please give a great round of welcome to Matt.
We've got one more speaker, and hopefully he's going to make it here. He got caught up in some of the traffic outside. But, if he's able to show up, we'll bring him up here. You guys will know him well. But like Nancy said, my name is Matt Seaholm. I'm the new State Director for Americans for Prosperity. We're an organization that has been built over the last about 5 years here in Wisconsin, up to over 100,000 members. And it's because of people like you that have said, you know, enough is enough. Back in October, you know, when we said to Governor Walker, are you going to do what you say you're going to do? He said yes. Well, you know what? He's doing it. Yeah. clear in this budget battle, our job isn't done. And that's why it's so heartening to see so many people show up today, brave the crowds that are outside, to show your support for Governor Walker and the tough choices he is making. For that, I thank you very much, and I think you all deserve a round of applause. With that, it can't stop here. Rallies are great, you know, it's fun to get together, show our support, but it has to keep going as you walk out the door. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and it comes down to, as Joe puts it, education. And Joe's pointed this out all around our 10 stops that we've had over the last few days. You know, it's about picking up a book, it's about educating not just yourselves, but those around you, your family, friends, neighbors, making sure that they know how important this is and why we've got to do what we've got to do. Governor Walker has said, I'm going to balance the budget without raising taxes. And he said, this is how we've got to do it. And that's why Americans for Prosperity, all of you are here to stand with Walker. Am I right? As you all came in here, you were asked if you wanted to sign a petition. Many of you did it today, many of you have done it online. That petition is now up over 120,000 signatures. I encourage you to pick up some of those or email them out. You can go to standwithwalker.com or .org. Either one works. Get your friends to sign up. We've got to continue this push. It's not going to stop anytime soon. We don't know when the Democrats are coming back into the state, but even when they do...
All we want is one.
I just saw the State Journal headline from this morning about Michael Moore was here yesterday. Said Moore, waking up a sleeping giant. That's a hell of a way to welcome him to town. Let me tell you, people. Governor Walker, he ain't backing down. Well, I guess I'm done then. He is not backing down. And I'll tell you, I have been around this state a lot the last 2 weeks, speaking at rallies and at events. And you get outside of Madison, you get outside the Madison bubble, and people go, what the hell is going on down here? It is 75 square miles surrounded by reality. I'm reality. I moved out to Pittsburgh. So I just, before you go, and what a great crowd on a Sunday. It was nice to the Madison Convention Visitors Bureau to set up a welcoming committee out front. But we're not afraid of them, are we? No! Now let me tell you, as you leave today, Governor Walker needs you to go back to your communities, and he needs you to get loud. I'm telling you, he needs you to get loud. I mean, really loud. Now, the people outside, they tried to scare you away from coming here today.
No way!
The people outside think you're in the minority. That's what they think. All those people, I've been down there every day for the past 3 weeks. Down in the Capitol. Talk about masochistic behavior. I've been down there every day the last 3 weeks.
We've been at work.
That collective of leftists and 60s retreads
special interest groups, they want the TV cameras covering the show down there to make people around the state think they're in the majority.
Right.
They're down there chanting with clenched fist, going, this is what democracy looks like, they say. This is what democracy looks like. Now, it is not enough for me to have the Badgers kick Ohio State's butt in about an hour and a half. I want to see that out. But we have to go back to our communities and get loud. That's what the governor needs. He needs you to talk to Republicans and make sure that they stay with them. And I'll tell you, they have been with them. They have done a great, great job under sometimes 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people. Last week I was outside the building in the stairway that runs up by the east wing, where the governor's office is right over here, probably wasn't 30 feet from his window. There's a guy on the stairway with a bullhorn screaming obscenities at the governor's window.
Yeah.
They think that's what democracy looks like.
Not so much.
That's right. It's mob rule. The police think they have control of the building. The protesters have had control of the building. And it's time to take it back. Now, Vicki and I can go on the air and have all sorts of fun for several hours a day. The easy thing for us to do would to have fun for several hours a day, pounding away on this leftist group, all these leftist groups. That would be easy, the easy thing. So we're going to do it, of course. But the work that needs to get done to win this fight is going to be done by the people in this room.
That's right.
And I mean that very, very literally. We can talk all we want. But the bottom line is, if the legislature doesn't hear that we need to pass the governor's budget repair bill, and if the people around Wisconsin don't hear the message behind that budget repair bill, we still lost. And I'm not interested in losing.
No.
I'm interested in winning.
No.
So that's the challenge in front of us right now, people. I've spoken to the governor about this. If they're out there thinking they've got the governor all wound up and everything, looking out the window, looking at all those protesters and all that, I got news for you. He's cool as a cucumber. These are tough decisions. You know, most governors, when they leave office, they leave like a nice little note saying how much they loved being governor, living in the house and getting driven around in a car and all that. Jim Doyle, he left a $3.6 billion debt behind. $5 billion more in tax increases. Hundreds of millions of dollars blown in stimulus money. 150,000 jobs lost in the last 4 years. That's the record they left behind. There's a reason they're hiding down in Illinois.
You can have your senators back.
In Chicago Bears country.
Illinois? Oh, no.
But you know what? The taxpayers are seeing it. They can run, but they can't hide.
That's right. That's right.
And I want to hand it to Senator Fitzgerald in the Senate and Speaker Fitzgerald in the Assembly. Call the cops on them. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Tea Party, leftist group, whatever. Our state capitol wasn't built in 1924 to be desecrated.
Right.
They're all running around excited because it may only cost $400,000 to fix it out.
Make them pay.
Thanks. Thanks. Only $25,000 $5 grand a day. If I went down there and did $10 worth of damage, I'd be sitting in a hooscow over there. But they can do $400 grand and say, wow, it wasn't that bad, was it? That's the mentality we're dealing with, people. Now, I hope that those senators in Illinois come back this week and do the job that they were constitutionally elected to do.
Yes, constitutionally.
And vote. So the message this week, get those senators back from Illinois. Do the right thing and vote for the governor's budget repair bill. But it's got to happen soon, because you know what? The governor promised these folks, he said, you know what? Every full-time person there can keep a job. They won't have to take furlough days. And they walked away from that deal. And now 1,500 people are going to lose their job as a result. That's the result of that picket line out there, people. It's not helping workers, it's putting them out of jobs. That's what the message is out there. So go back to your homes, go back to your communities. It's great to have rallies. I love them. I even go to theirs. Gotta get escorted out sometimes. I haven't been surrounded by that many sheriff's deputies since I've been in college. Go back to your homes and communities. Call your legislators. But remember this. The governor needs us. And he needs us now. And we need him. Do we need Scott Walker or what? Who in here signed up for AFP? You all ought to be, because they'll keep you on top of what's going on. I want you to go, where's David Blaska? Where is he? There he is. He writes Blaska's blog. The truth is spoken on his blog. I want you to go back home. I want you to leave today and say, that was a great rally, but take the next step. Go back. The way for us to win is for everybody in this room to get loud, and I want you to get loud now.
Why do you stand with Scott Walker?
We're here to support Scott Walker today because I think that here's a man who's putting his career on the line, taking a stand that is something that needs to be done. The state is in dire straits, and he's could possibly be committing political suicide. And I think we need more representatives like him, who are more willing to give for the country and for the state than worrying about their own hide.
Yeah, the protesters outside of this event are rather angry at Scott Walker. What do you have to say to them?
They're entitled to their own opinions. I feel for them because the rest of us people have had to go through a lot of cuts and have had to take a lot of grief over the last 10 years with the economic conditions. And we've all had to pay our dues already, and I understand what they're feeling right now, but at the same point in time, they got to realize that it's their turn to give.